How to Train Your Dragon 2, the second part of the animated trilogy. We pick up the story 5 years later, after the events of the previous film. The village of Berg now coexists peacefully with the dragons, using them as mounts and as help of various types around the island. Hiccup is being groomed by his father to take over as the village chieftain, but he's really more interested in flying out further and further and mapping the region. On one such trip, he comes across a ship of dragon trappers. The short encounter reveals that they work for a man named Drago Bloodfist, who is hunting dragons and building up a personal army for whatever reason. And the trappers all seem to think Hiccup is somehow affiliated with a mysterious dragon rider that has been messing with their operation lately. Upon coming back to the village, preparations are being made for a potential war with Drago, but Hiccup is convinced that he can talk things over and make Drago see the error of his ways, so he sneaks out to find him. But instead he finds the mysterious dragon rider, who turns out to be someone with a personal connection to him and Berk. So the first film was pretty good, a solid mix of fantasy and adventure, with the developing friendship between Hiccup and Toothless as the emotional center. And surprisingly, the sequel is even better. I think that comes down to three core elements. First off, the world of the film is largely established already, so we don't have to spend too much time explaining the rules and introducing the characters. The pieces are already on the board for the directors to play with, so now it's okay to just expand the existing world building, and we're good. Second, that expansion goes in the best possible direction. It doesn't really create artificial internal conflict and problems for the heroes that pretty much resolved all their differences in the previous film. Instead, it establishes new unknown external threats. And by doing that, it really raises the stakes. Previously it was just one village and a single dragon nest. Now it's a whole dragon army under Drago, plus an entirely new faction of dragons themselves, and the mysterious dragon rider as well. And when these players clash, it's huge. The action sequences are really grand, and even the visual scale of things. The dragons, the battles, the amount of characters on the screen dwarfs everything we've seen before. And last but not least, while the film goes big in terms of spectacle, it never forgets what made the first one click. And that's the character relationships, the small things and gestures and conversations in the middle of grander schemes. I think throughout the film, that's just the glue that holds it all together. Also, I want to say that I thought the Dragon Rider, I won't say who exactly that turns out to be because it would be a spoiler, but that character is handled quite well. And in fact, when the character is first introduced, I thought that there was going to be one thing that was certain, that was bound to happen for sure. A thing which would be both kind of predictable and a bit tired as a movie trope, but I was pleased to find out that the film avoided that trap and managed to tell its story in a competent way. Also, I think I forgot to mention that during the previous review of the original film, but the main theme that occurs again here, absolute banger, fantastic piece of music. Overall, very good sequel, looking forward to the conclusion.